Yes, yes.
Very good. So we are waiting for some of your classmates, or say
Yeah,
they join, then we can start today.
yeah, yes.
So was these classes helpful?
Yes, yes, definitely.
So it tries to answer some of your queries or mental, say, problems that you are thinking of for a long time as of now, something like that. You're getting some help.
Basically, when for me, person who is like some academic, if this, because you have so much experience and you have actually studied all these things, so I just want to confirm what I'm thinking is right or not. So that is my biggest like how things are viewed from an expert's point of view. That is what uh,
Yeah,
benefits me most.
that's very good. Rather, always asking questions about anything that helps somebody to engage his or her mind in a positive way, trying to search an answer for a question. Try to search in truth. Truth can be looked from various perspectives, but asking question, interrogating certain issues on your own, that is a good sign of a good, I would say, student, good scholar, good professor, good students, good human being, and all these things. Those who just believe what is told to them, I would say that they are not the rationalist person. They are blind believers. So it is necessary for all of us, irrespective of the discipline and knowledge, we should start questioning, we should start thinking about new, so and so forth. Hello, Josna. Josna, Volacho, how are you? Good. Okay. All right. So we have three participants, excluding me and Professor Santos from Bhubaneswar, Regional Center, Bhubaneswar. Shall we wait for another 2 minutes, or we'll begin, or what do you think? Josna, ତମ କୋଉଠୁ ଆସିଛ? Which district you belong to in Odisha? ତମର ମାଇକ୍ ଟାକୁ ଟିକେ ଅନମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରିବ, ମାଇକ୍ ଟା ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ ଅଛି।
ସାର୍ ଜଳେଶ୍ୱର।
ହଁ ତମେ କହୁଥିଲ ଜଳେଶ୍ୱର, ଠିକ ଅଛି, ମୁଁ ଭୁଲି ଯାଉଛି। Okay, okay, correct, correct. You are also a teacher, isn't it? Correct, correct. Yes, you told last time, I forgot it. So shall we wait for another 2 minutes, something like that, so that others may join? If they are not joining, still we'll continue, because time and tide wait for none, something like that, isn't it? We'll begin,
Yeah.
then join later, something like
One question I want to ask about hermeneutics.
that. Hermeneutics, okay.
Like, what is hermeneutics and what is its role in philosophy?
It's a hermeneutics mostly is a philosophical branch, is a philosopher who talks about phenomenology. Phenomenology means whatever you experience in the world, how it is related to mind, how it is related to body, what is consciousness, how shall we know about the existing things about the world, what are the mechanism involved to find out the truth of the universe. These are the questions. Mostly it is a phenomenology. So those who works on hermeneutics, they would be answering most of the important philosophical and mathematical social questions from these perspectives. Like how is mind related to body? How is body related to mind? How are body and mind together related to the worldly affairs? How shall we know that we cognize an object and know the truth about the object? What is meant by knowledge? What is meant by truth? How truth is related to knowledge? These are the questions. And most recently, people are working on consciousness. There are two levels of consciousness, or two types of consciousness. A consciousness that all of us we know through our sense organs, by touching an object, by eating something, or by listening something, by seeing something. But here, hermeneutics they say beyond that there is another consciousness. So for them, there are two types of consciousness. One is actual consciousness, another is phenomenal consciousness, the two expressions. So, in actual consciousness is something that is experienced by you, me, and all of us. Like touching an object, knowing about it, listening a music, we know about it. But phenomenal consciousness is very subjective. In physics discipline, people term that subjective experience as qualia. Qualia means an experience that a person gets it but cannot be shared with others. Even though he or she tries to answer, tries to share that ideas, thoughts through language, that will not be sufficient for the hearer to understand the correct intention of the speaker. In other words, the hearer and the listener cannot have the similar subjective experience about an object. By seeing the Mahanadi, you and your friend would not have the similar experience. Your experience would be certainly unique than your friend's experience and vice versa. And therefore, we say some experience that we only possess exclusively, and that's called qualia. So, therefore, they termed it actual consciousness and phenomenal consciousness. And those who do not understand what is phenomenal consciousness, they need to understand uh, a particular event. For example, I would say, what is it like to be a bat? Bat, you know, baduri, samaste janicho baduri, gote pakhi. Say, what is it like to be a bat? When bat is flying in the night, it's pitch dark. You, me, and none of human beings can see something in the dark, isn't it? But this is the only bird that can fly and doesn't hit to any of the tree or branch of the tree or wall or anything. And it takes care of the altitude, means what is the height the bird can fly, what is the height can come down, so and so forth. Now if you ask me the question, how does the bat could manage it, or how does the bat do that, I would say the bat does it merely because of echolocation. Echolocation in today times we call it signaling. Like those who are riding a four-wheeler, you know that once you put this reverse gear, suppose your rear is coming close to an say iron rod or some object, then you will get some beeping sound, isn't it? Ping ping ping, something like that. Nowadays also in two-wheeler, if you put the stand on and you start it and ride it, then you will get some beeping sound in your electric board, isn't it? And earlier it was called echolocation. Echolocation is a medium through which a bat knows what is the sound and who would be there in front of that. Suppose he will create a sound, that sound goes and hit to the wall, comes back much faster than the time it took to hit the wall. Then the bird knows that this is the speed I need to fly and I have to turn my altitude left, right, or up and down something. That's called echolocation. In today time, whenever you fly in an aeroplane, you'll be able to see a small kind of antenna that is fixed on the nose of that aeroplane. Did you observe by chance, Ambrish? So that's called echolocation. That takes care of that how much speed wind is coming, what is the altitude where the mountain is there, whether the flight will take up high or not. If the thick dark cloud is coming, which called say nimbus cloud, then the flight has to come down and take some other routes. Yeah, that's called echolocation. So the bat can only tell what is the experience he or she is having, so that he or she can change the altitude in the night. No human being can able to know that. Only bat knows what it means, echolocation means. So the title of the paper is called, written by Thomas Nagel, saying that what is it like to be a bat? That's a part of phenomenological research. It's a part of hermeneutics research. Okay, so I have told you so many informations about hermeneutics. Okay, Josna, so कौन क्या है जी पर है?
सर चिकन ହେଇଥିଲା।
Very good, very good. Amresh, कौन सब है जी पर है? क्या पे है जी?
Uh, I, just roti, sabji, dal.
हाँ, भला
Mm.
खाई वाटे important time रे,
Mm.
irrespective of the food, isn't it? It should be good cooked and should be good for health. Pankajini, I'm not able to see you. I hope you are there on the other side. Are you there? Can you able to switch on your? Yes, I could see that. So Deepar कौन क्या ହେଇଛି?
ତାର ଆଜି ଦିପହରେ ପଖାଳ ଖିଆ ହେଇଛି।
ଭଲ ହେଲା ଏ ତ ଖରା ଦିନ ଆସିଲାଣି ଆଉ ପଖାଳ ଉପରେ ମାଡ଼ ହଉଛି ଭଲ ଯାହା
ହଁ
ଭଲ ହଁ ପଖାଳଟା ଭଲ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ପଖାଳ has a two
ଆଜ୍ଞା
advantages one is that your body water level it will keep intact and
ହୁଁ
second is that it will never allow your energy to go down so the same energy you can maintain okay so with this we'll begin our class today okay no it's a good refreshment to know each other first then we'll start it okay fine. Can you able to see that? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I think all of you could have seen. So today, as I promised earlier, we are going to discuss. Let me put this way. So we are going to discuss a brief about Vedas and Upanishads. Is that okay? Sounds good. So how many of you know about Vedas and what is Vedas for you? Yoshna, are you there?
yes sir
What is Vedas? You might have heard from somebody. This is called Vedas or something like that. What is Vedas?
sir ବେଦ four types
Hmm. What are these?
ଅଥର୍ବ
Mm-hmm.
ଅଥର୍ବ ଋଗ୍ବେଦ ଯଜୁର୍ବେଦ
Mm-hmm. ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଛାଡ଼ିଦେଲ ଆଚ୍ଛା ମନେ ପକଉ ତ
sir ସାମବେଦ
correct
ସାମବେଦ
correct 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 so these are the four Vedas. Amrish, you want to say something about Vedas, why Vedas are
Uh,
considered classical text and so on and so on? Tell.
Vedas, I think it means it's coming from the root word vid, which
Ah,
means knowledge,
yes.
and it is like what the ancient seers and rishis they got through meditative experiences. This knowledge, it
Mm-hmm.
is revealed. It was revealed to them, uh, and it is not it is through their intuitive experiences that this knowledge about reality was revealed to them. It is not just for them any theory or concept but a practical realization, and mm, that is what they transmitted from one generation to another through uh, not through text but through uh, speech, or what there is a certain term for that but I'm forgetting, through verbal uh, articulation.
Good.
And yeah.
No, you're saying something. Come, go ahead.
uh, so it was like shabd praman, testimony of the word,
Yeah,
and as it was revealed to them by deep meditation.
correct. So the two important things we need to know: Vedas are not like it is not possible for a person as an ordinary person to conceive all the ideas arguments and the lyrical form of putting all the words in a particular order so therefore it say that it is the gods or goddesses perhaps entered inside the body of the person who has written vedas right so in that sense we say vedas are construed because of shruti. Shruti means somebody uttered something.
ଶୁଣି
Yes, not smruti. Smruti means memory. Shruti means that you hear it, and that's what say Veda. These are the classical texts. What they are arguing, If God or goddess's power, if not there in case of a person, he or she cannot be so much intellectual enough to create numerous ideas, numerous arguments, numerous way of putting all the words in a sequential manner so that it can be chanted. So therefore they say Vedas are nothing but a Shruti made by certain sages or saints, and therefore we treat them as an intuitive truth, a truth that they have not experienced, a truth they made it, but they do not know the cause of the truth, but they know this is the truth. And that's what the Vedas are treated as the classical text in Indian philosophical system. So there are mostly you'll find Vedas, whenever you talk about Vedas or whenever people discuss about Vedas, you'll say that they're going to share some new knowledge, new ideas, new thoughts. And because of these ideas, thoughts, and arguments, we say Vedas are the original source of Indian philosophy. Why it is an original source? Before that, there is no such text witness to Indian culture, wisdom, traditions, values, festivals, so on and so forth. So therefore, Vedas are the original source of Indian philosophy. Now, they also represent some of the oldest monuments of mankind. Oldest monuments means, see, for example, you know that there are many rivers, and there are importance of the rivers. Because of the rivers, most of the states people they cultivate many crops because they got water. Some of the rivers are perennial rivers. Some of the mountains exist in India, and because of that, you can able to see some good climatic conditions over there. Then further, they were saying how people were very cooperative in earlier years, in Vedic time. If one was suffering, others will be coming forward to take care of him or her. Similarly, in a reverse way. So, therefore, in economics, it was told to the students that barter system. You heard about barter system? Josna and Amrish, you guys have heard about barter system. Barter system is a system. Suppose you give me two dot pen, I'll give you four pencil. If you give me 4 liters milk because you have cows, I'll be giving you, let's say, 10 kg rice something. So therefore, both you and me, we need not to depend on the third persons for our survival. So the society becomes self-sufficient. Suppose you will give me ginger, I'll give you garlic. You will give me onion, I'll give you groundnuts. This is how it is about. Even even today also you'll find many villages people do that. କାହା ଘର ଯଦି ଭଲ ତରକାରୀ ହେଇଛି ସିଏ ପଡ଼ୋଶୀ ଘରକୁ ଦେବେ। ପଡ଼ୋଶୀ ଘର ସେଇ ବାଉଲଟିକୁ ଫେରାଇବା ନାଁରେ କ'ଣ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଇକି ଆସିବେ, ହଁ କି ନା? That builds a healthy relationship. Yes. Similarly, suppose ଜଣଙ୍କ ଘରେ ବହୁତ କ୍ଷୀର ହେଉଛି, ଦହି ପଡ଼ୋଶୀ ଘରକୁ ଦେଲେ ଫ୍ରିରେ। ପଡ଼ୋଶୀ ଘର କୌଣସି ଆମ୍ବ ପିଜୁଳି ହେଉଛି କି ବାତାପି ହେଉଛି ସିଏ ଆଣିକି ଦେଇଗଲେ, ହେଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ ଜୋସ୍ନା, ଅମ୍ବରେଶ, isn't it? So
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍ ହଉଛି।
ହଉଛି. The reason behind that, we wanted to develop a healthy relationship with our neighbors, with our society, so and so that we can understand each other's feeling, each other's desires. We can also help others when somebody is in danger. ଆଗରୁ ଗାଁରେ ଯଦି ଜଣଙ୍କ ଘରେ ଛୁଆ ଜନ୍ମ ହଉଥିଲା, everybody was coming forward to see that. Yes or no? Irrespective of the relations. ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଗାଁରେ ରିଲେସନ ନଥିଲେ ବି କହିବେ ଦାଦା, ଚାଚା, ମାମୁଁ, ଅଜା, ଖୁଡି, ଏ ସବୁ ଗୋଟେ କୌଣସି ନା କୌଣସି ରିଲେସନରେ କହିବେ। ଗାଁରେ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲାଟି ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଯାଉଛି ମାନେ everybody will ask କେମିତି ପଢୁଛ? Why? Because it is all societal atmosphere they want to build it. So if somebody is suffering something, other people will come forward with their own knowledge and intelligence. This is how Vedas stated that how all the individuals, instead of looking their own interest, they should look the interest of a society. The reason behind that, the society should be self-sufficient enough. So it need not to depend on others. This is how we build a healthy relationship. If you come to a cosmopolitan city, even your neighbor doesn't know that whether you work in the same place or different place. So therefore, they deviate from the Vedic culture, wisdom, and traditions. Next, and therefore, Vedas, whatever it is written, it is all about how to get perfection while living in the society. Perfection in a sense, You may ask the question, what does it mean by perfection? Means it it depends on your skills, intelligence, ability, food habit, physical strength, and mental strength. Even though it varies from person to person, but if every individual will be putting his or her best skill, intelligence, wisdom, and knowledge to do a things to come out with something good output, then the whole society become independent one. It will not depend on others. Therefore, it will not get threat by the others. Let's say ଜଣକ ଗାଁରେ କି ଜଣକ ଟାଉନରେ ପିଇବା ପାଣିର ଅସୁବିଧା, if they'll depend on the other town, then the other town people can threat saying that we can stop that water supply so that drinking water these people will not get it. Like today time there's a fight between storage system. ମୋ ଘର ପାଣି ତା ଘରୁ କାହିଁକି ଯିବ, ତାଙ୍କ ନାଳ ଦେଇ କେମିତି ଯିବ, ହଁ କି ନା? Therefore, municipality corporation came into existence. That anyone who wants to build a house in the town should get the design approval from this municipality corporation engineer. Okay, na? This is how we learned from Vedas. Vedas also tells that elderly people should be respected. Pachara kaun pai? Acha mu pacharche. Why elderly people should be respected? They are also having two eyes, one nose, 2 ears, something. If they are normal human beings, they also eat, they also sleep, they also drink water, they also move. Why elderly people will be respected? Ye koiba? Who can tell me? Anybody?
Because of that our uh, because of experience and that it's the river of tradition that is like in continuation. So we came from them, and they are carrying that tradition which led to our creation, our cultural setups and everything, and they have experience.
Yes. So in Vedic tradition, it was stated that we respect elders because of two reasons. Primarily, two reasons. There may be other reasons, but the two reasons are as follows. First, they have more experience than us about the worldly affairs. So if they had a bad experience about something, they will not allow us to experience the bad and learn from that. Rather, directly they will help us to get a good experience so that we'll refrain from doing certain bad actions instead of getting a bad experience. So their experience, we cannot get it. Or if at all we try to get their experience, we have to come to their age, which is impossible. So we get a direct experience from them, which is a good one. The second objective is that they are resourceful about various informations because they are more aged, they are elderly than us. So whatever experience we have certainly limited than their experience with regard to information. Suppose ଗୋଟେ ସହରକୁ କିଏ ନୂଆ ଲୋକ ଆସିଲା, they will rely on an elderly people by thinking that that elderly people is not going to cheat them. He or she would be having sufficient knowledge to guide them if the road is available for that person to reach the destination. So because of expertise, because of abundant information, it is our duty to respect the elder. Because of their experience and information, we need not to go through a bad experience in our life. Rather, we'll directly test the good experience about life. You see, it's such a beautiful things. Therefore, we respect the elders. Why we should not hurt others, whether in our thinking, whether in our language, whether in our action. Anybody? Why we should not hurt others?
Because number one, because they are also human beings who will feel pain and suffering. And secondly, it will also have bad effect on us also because we are living together in a world which we share. And
So, ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ପଲ ଅଛି ଭେଦିକ ଟ୍ରାଡିସନରେ, ଧର ଏକ୍ସ ୱାଇ କୁ ଗାଳି ଦେଲା, ତ ଏକ୍ସ ଯୋଉ କଥାଟା କହିଲା ସେ ଇରିଟେଟ୍ ହେଇ କହିଲା, ହି ଇଜ ଅଲସୋ ଅର ସି ହି ଅର ସି ଇଜ ଅଲସୋ ଇନ୍ ପେନ୍। ଯିଏ ଗାଳିଟା ଶୁଣିଲା, ଯୋଉ ଖରାପ କଥା ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଶୁଣିଲା କି ତାକୁ କଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା, ସିଏ ବି ଅଲସୋ ପେନ୍। So therefore it's not that once you abuse somebody to whom you abuse, he or she will be in pain. Not necessarily. The time when you think about some ugly words, filthy language, you yourself also get irritated and you lose your peace of mind. And therefore, We need to treat each and every individual with respect and dignity, because in return they'll also give respect and dignity to us, and that's called ethical life on this earth. So ethics plays a vital role because we need to live peacefully on this society, and hence it is necessary for all of us not to use any kind of ugly words or filthy language for others to hurt others. Even today also it is valid, today also it is relevant. So therefore, I'll come to the next point, that if we consider the four Vedas, like as Joshna said, there are four Vedas: Ruk, Sam, Yadur, and Athar. Now that is divided into four groups or four sections. Like in today times, if you take out one book from library, you will find that it divided into certain chapters or sections, something. Similarly, all the Vedas are divided into four sections. One is Samhita, second one is Brahmanas. Brahmanas are nothing to do with Brahmin family, not nothing to do with caste. This is a section. So Samhita and Brahmana, they deal with Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means what are the action we should do in our day-to-day activities. Not like only Vedic rituals. It is Vedic rituals plus everything that we do in our day-to-day life. That's all about Karma Kanda. Kanda means section. ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହୁନା ଗୋଟେ ଗଛରେ ପାଞ୍ଚଟି କାଣ୍ଡ ଅଛି, ମାନେ 5 branches, isn't it? So therefore it's a karma kanda. Karma means action. ଖାଇବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ କ'ଣ କରିବା କଥା, ଗାଧେଇ ସାରିକି ତୁଳସୀ ଚଉରା କାହିଁ ପୂଜା କରନ୍ତି, ପୋଖରୀରେ ଗାଧେଇଲେ ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟକୁ କାହିଁକି ନମସ୍କାର କରନ୍ତି, all of you know about it, isn't it? ଇଭିନିଂ ରେ ପିଲାମାନେ କାହିଁ ଘରକୁ ଆସନ୍ତି, ଇଭିନିଂ ରେ କାହିଁକି ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରନ୍ତି ପଢିବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ, all these things you know. These are the part of people nowadays talking about culture, but these are not culture earlier years. We are giving a new name to that. These things were written. The benefit of that, suppose somebody will wake up in the very early morning, like in the dawn time. You understand, dawn time means surya bahari nathibe but andhara nathibo, say time ta dawn time, isn't it? And that's the starting point of your work. Why it is? Because the whole environment, the 5 Mahabhutas will give you so much positive energy. If you wake up and make a round or jog or something, that gives you so much energy and you can channelize that energy for the whole day. And all these things are mentioned in Samhita and Brahmanas. Similarly, what you need to do before you eat. Even today times you might have seen many people put some water on their palm and put that water across that plate. You have seen that? Josna, अंजुलारे पानी नहीं कि जो थाली थी वो कि जो उतरे खाउतवे चारी कड़े से पांटा देवे. That means the whole food that person is getting because of bless of Almighty. Because without food we cannot accumulate energy. We will not live on this earth. So that food has given to us. So we should not complain about any food. We should not get irritated about food. Rather we call it like a prasad. Whenever you go to a temple, when the priest would give some prasad, even though the taste is bad or something is dust is there, do you complain saying that no, I'll throw it because I don't like this god or goddesses? Do you do that? No. Nobody does that, isn't it? So similarly, whenever somebody serves food in your home, don't say this is not tasty, this tasty. It is just because to fulfill your stomach. This is a very beautiful connotation. And therefore they say, whenever we eat something, we surrender to the God, saying that since you exist, we get some food for today. There are many individuals on this earth, even they do not get 2 times meal in a day. So we are very lucky and fortunate. Such a beautiful concept you find in Vedas. Now, the next sections you will find Aranyakas and Upanishads. Aranyakas and Upanishads, they discuss about Jnana Kanda. Jnana means knowledge. I'll give an example. Suppose because season has changed. गाँव सब मेडिसिन दियंती ए पत्रर रस को ए पत्र को बाट तार रसटा खाइले भल हो. You heard about it, something like, yeah, suppose somebody is not getting cured, then some peel of the tree, gachara balkala falkala ananti chero ananti, that's kind of Ayurvedic, they do that, isn't it? Then also part of Vastu Shastra, ଘରର ରୋଷେଇ ରୁମ୍ କୋଉ ସାଇଡ୍ ହେବା ଦରକାର. It will be in south. Agnikona. So the reason behind that, you get proper light, sunlight, so that all the water get dried up. Hence, you will not get any stinking or smell or any bad smell. So nothing will get composed over there. So no flies will come something. So there is a purpose behind that. No one knows about it, and therefore they say, "Eh, Basture kichi nahi kon kotha kon nahi." But Bastu has a science. This is called marvelous engineering. In today's times, we call it marvelous engineering. It's a design, a technological design that involved in designing all the rooms of a particular house. So all these things are mentioned in Aranyakas and Upanishads. Shall I move on next? Mamta, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. So there are four Vedas, as said earlier: Ruk Veda, Sam Veda, Yadur Veda, and Atharva Veda. Very briefly, I'll say what is Ruk Veda. Ruk Vedas are those verses which are very big, maybe 7 or 8 verses put together, sometimes 20 verses put together. It requires a different skill to chant that verses. So only few people in those days could able to chant that big slokas or verses. That's called Ruk Vedans. Earlier years, if you know, or if you can ask your say parents or grandparents in marriage ceremony that took place the whole night. So before they'll take 1 spoon of ghee and put it on the fire, so one priest would be chanting nearly 1 minute with one breath, will not cutting with the breath. So that's part of Roop Vedans. Something is a very big verse sloka. But it has multiple interpretation. People also get confused at a later period. And that should be chanted by the Hotri. Hotri is a special kind of people. They have an ability to chant. They know how to control their breath and accordingly they chant, which you and me were not capable of. Then the next one is called Samaveda. It is chanted by Ugatri. Ugatri is certain section of people. They know how to chant when you perform certain puja, rituals, sacrifice, and so on and so forth. Yajurveda tells you what are the things that you need to require to have a puja or ceremony. For example, if you closely observe, a Brahmin will put some, say, turmeric powder to a particular direction. Then they'll put, say, some kind of goop, some kind of, I would say that, what is that? Some kind of fruits in a particular direction. Then this rice would be a particular direction. That's all the things are mentioned in Yajurveda. Did you notice that while doing the puja, Brahmins they do or Purahits they do in a particular order? Then the ghata, the kumbha, they put it in a particular order. Something like that. Did you notice that? And that's all written in Yajurveda. That means for every god and goddesses, there is a unique way of doing rituals. Then only we can convey our concerns, problems to the Almighty, for so that they can come forward to help us. Atharvaveda is mostly deals with certain kind of trees, plants, water, this ocean water, so on and so forth. So therefore, Atharvaveda deals with something, everything to do with nature, everything to do with forest, everything to do with water, everything to do with say mountain, so on and so forth. So this is all about four Vedas. Any questions?
ସାର୍ ଆମର 4ଟି ବେଦ ମଧ୍ୟରୁ ଋଗ୍ ବେଦଟି ହେଉଛି ସର୍ବପୁରାତନ ବେଦ।
Yes, that is the first Veda. It is chanted by Hotri. Hotri is a section of Brahmins, not each and every Brahmin. It's a section of Brahmins, those who know how to control their breath, like inhaling and exhaling. So by taking the breath, they know how to chant. बेले बेले आम कंपिटिशन करूनी अबिका निश्वास नेले केते समय परे जे छाड़ी दे आल्सो नो द टेक्निक्स अथर्ववेदरे गोटे भलो एग्जांपल देबी तुमको अर्लियर इयर्स
Can you excuse me for 5-10 minutes? I'll go, but you continue.
Okay, go ahead. Atharvaveda, see there is a beautiful example. You can see that Ganga river. माने जदि तमे वाराणसी आस कि ऋषिकेश आस सकाळु संध्या दुई बेला लोक पूजा करती गंगा रिवर हाँ कि ना आरती फारती हुए आगर कौन होता गंगा रिवर वाटर एते प्यूरिफाइड थिला कि सेटा को लोक वन ऑफ द प्यूरिफाइड एंटिटी बोली भाबुतले तेणु कौन से शुभ कामना हेले गंगारू जो पानीटा आसी ताको छिंचुतले मनीष जन्म होला बेले कि मनीष मरीगला बेले कि किछि भल काम कला बेले विभिन्न क्षेत्र में लगुला तार केमिति जानिबो जे गोटे एई पानीटा गंगा गंगा रिवर रु आछि बोली जदि सेई पानीटा को हम 5 वर्ष रखी दबु ସେଥିରେ କୌଣସି କବକ ଲାଗିବେନି, କୌଣସି ଜୀବାଣୁ ଭୂତାଣୁ ହେବେନି। ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ସୋ ପ୍ୟୁରିଫାଇଡ୍ ୱାଟର। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଜିକା ତାରିଖରେ ଯେଉଁ ଗଙ୍ଗା ରିଭର ୱାଟର ଦେଖୁଛ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ନଟ୍ ପ୍ୟୁରିଫାଇଡ୍, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ପିଓରଲି କଣ୍ଟାମିନେଟ୍। କେମିତି ଜାଣିବ? ଧର ଗୋଟେ କପ୍ରେ ରଖିଲ, ଗୋଟେ କୌଣସି କଣ୍ଟେନର ରଖିଲ, 5 ଦିନ 10 ଦିନ ପରେ ତାପରେ ଗୋଟେ ସ୍ତର ପଶିଯିବ, ମଇଳା ହେଇଯିବ, ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଖରାପ ଦେଖାଯିବ। କାହିଁକି ନା ଭୂତାଣୁ ଜୀବାଣୁ ସବୁ ତା ଭିତରେ ଆସିଯିବେ, କବକ ସବୁ। ବୁଝିଲେ? ତେଣୁ earlier years people were using Ganga river as a purified river because it was a perennial river and it was having all the possible elements. And therefore they said this is one among the purified water that we can use it for all the purposes. Now that's become so contaminated. So earlier years when Ganga river water you will be sprinkling on any of the object, that object gets purified. Now in today times, if you sprinkle Ganga river water, you will find that you are inviting the ill health. You are inviting some medical problems because this water itself will contaminate it. Okay. Shall I move on next? The Vedas discuss the following issues: moral conduct. କାହିଁକି ଆମେ ଏଥିକ୍ସ ପାଳିବା? ମାନିନିଅ ଗୋଟେ ସିଚୁଏସନ୍, ଲେଟ୍ସ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁରେ କେହି ଏଥିକ୍ସ ପାଳିଲେନି, କହିବା ଆମର ପାଳିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ କିଛି। କ'ଣ ହେବ? ଯାହା ପାଖରେ ବଳ ଅଛି, ଯାହା ପାଖରେ ପଇସାର ବଳ ଅଛି କି ଲୋକ ବଳ ଅଛି, ସେମାନେ ଗରିବ ଲୋକଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ଅକ୍ତିଆର କରିବେ, ତାଙ୍କ ଜମି ବାଡ଼ି ଛଡ଼େଇ ନେବେ। ଯଦି ଜମି ବାଡ଼ି ଛଡ଼େଇ ନେବେ, ଯଦି ଏଥିକ୍ସ ନଥିବ, ତାହେଲେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଜମି ଚାଲିଗଲା ସେମାନେ କେମିତି ନ୍ୟାୟ ପାଇବେ? ସେମାନେ କେମିତି ସୁଖରେ ରହିବେ? ତ ଯଦି ଛଡ଼େଇ ନେବାଟା ଗୋଟେ ଉପାୟ ହେଲା, କିଏ ବି କାହାକୁ ମାରିକି ଛଡ଼େଇ ନେବ, ତେଣୁ ଜୀବନଟା ବି ନଷ୍ଟ ହେବ। ହଁ କି ନା? ତେଣୁ earlier time, in Vedas time, they said that moral conduct, morality in our behavior, that must be there. If it is not there, then we are animal. So therefore moral conduct is necessary to live happily in a particular society. Next, they said there are some people, they run behind power, they run behind wealth, therefore they commit mistakes knowingly. That's called sin. ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ କହୁଛେ ପାପ। ବହୁତ ଲୋକ ପାପ କରନ୍ତି କାରଣ ସେମାନେ ଚାହିଁବେ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଧନୀ ହେଇଯିବୁ, ରାତାରାତି ଏଠୁ ଶୋଷି ନେବୁ, ତାକୁ ହଇରାଣ କରିବୁ, ଏକୁ ହଇରାଣ କରିବୁ, ତ ଗୋଟେ ଧନୀ ହେଇଯିବୁ। ହଁ କି ନା? But then they said that's not good. One should not get into this. These are the bad people. These are not the good people. They are not a good human being. So what therefore we supposed to do? We should try to do virtue. Virtue means punya. Punya କ'ଣ? Punya ତାକୁ ଆମେ କହିବା ଯେତେବେଳେ we'll do our work without expecting any return from that. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that do your duty, don't wait for the result, isn't it? The time when we think that we must do our duty without expecting the result, we'll be able to put our best effort, skills, without any fear, without any anxiety. And that's what we learn from Vedas. Such a nice words, isn't it? Next, the theory of karma. The theory of karma tells you that whatever karma we do, there is a result for that. Suppose jane glass se pani pila, there is a karma, there is a result. Suppose jane khaiba deri kardela, then this is a karma, then there is a result. Suppose jane sakalu uthiki fitness pai bahar ku gala, body fitness rakla, mind fitness rakla, then there is a karma phala. Suppose jane parikha re chori kariki lekhila, there is also karma phala. Suppose parikha re jane bhalo padhiki lekhiki bhalo mark paila, there is a karma phala. So therefore there is no concept like if you do the karma you will get away with the result. ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ କାମ ଆମେ ଯୋଉଟା କରୁଛେ ସେଥିରେ ଭଲ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ଅଛି, ଖରାପ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ଅଛି। So therefore it is our duty to take care of certain action that would result something good, not bad. Okay, Josna, how about others?
Yes, sir.
Okay, others, I don't see others switching on your video. What happened, guys? Satan, Swagatika, Pankajini, Mamata. Hey, Omyakanta, who is Omyakanta? Can you switch on? I didn't see you. Are you there, Omyakant? Hey, this is not good, huh? This is not good.
Hello, sir.
Eh?
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
Yes.
ସାର୍, ମତେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ପଢେଇବା ଶୈଳୀଟା ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା।
Okay. Good.
ମାନେ ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଓଡିଆ ଆଉ ଇଂଲିଶ ଟାକୁ ମିକ୍ସ କରିକି ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି। ତ ମାନେ ଆମେ ନୁହେଁ ଯେ ସର୍ବଜ୍ଞ ଯେ ସବୁ ଜାଣିଛୁ, ସେମିତି ତ ଆମେ ନୁହେଁ ନା।
Hmm.
ତ ମତେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପର୍ସନାଲି ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପଢେଇବା ଷ୍ଟାଇଲ ଟା ମତେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା। ମାନେ ଓଡିଆ ବି ଇଂଲିଶ ବି ତ ସମସ୍ତେ ସବୁଟା ବୁଝିପାରିବେ।
ହଁ, ଯଦି ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରୁଛେ ପରେ 2 ଘଣ୍ଟା ସମୟ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦଉଛେ ସମସ୍ତେ ବୁଝିବା ଦରକାର, so that everybody will take away something as a learning
ସାର୍,
process.
ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଇଂଲିଶ ୱାର୍ଡ ଅଛି ଯାହାକି ଆମର ତାର ଓଡିଆ ମିନିଂ ବି ଜାଣିନେ, କି ବହୁତ ଓଡିଆ ମିନିଂ ଅଛି ତାର ମାନେ ଇଂଲିଶ ମିନିଂ ବି ଆମେ ଜାଣିନେ।
Hmm.
ତ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ଜାଣିନେ ସେଇଟା ବି ଜାଣିବା।
हाँ, निहाती ना ଭଲ କଥା. How about others? I want others should participate. Otherwise, it will be a public lecture. I will be coming as like a political person. Blah 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 blah. Then I'll go. Like Josna, I want others also participate. Mamta, are you there? Pankajini, are you there? Swagatika, Satan.
Yes, sir.
Then switch on your video. I will see that. Ah, yes, Pankajini, I could see that. Good. Very nice to see that. How about others, Mamta?
ସାର୍ ସାର୍
Hmm.
ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ମୋର 2 ଜଣ ଟୁଇନ୍ସ ବେବି ତ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଅନେଇଛନ୍ତି, ବଦମାସି କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ହିଁ
ठीक है हाँ ठीक है ମୁଁ ବୁଝିଗଲି ବୁଝିଗଲି hello baby hello 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 baby hello ठीक है okay all right so we'll go to the next slide that will discuss about the theory of karma necessarily tells that whatever karma we do, any action that you do, it has a result, either a good result or bad result. So if we do the good karma, then perhaps we think that God has blessed us. In other words, I would say God has given a birth on this earth as a human being. ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହିବା କି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ମଣିଷ ଜନ୍ମ ହେଇକି ପୃଥିବୀକୁ ଆସିଲେ, it means God has certainly blessed us. So once God has blessed us, there is a purpose for which He has created us on this earth. So in this sense, I would say God is the master of all karmas. जो काम आमे करूचे जहाँ भाबुचे आमे हमर ताकू क्रेडिट नबानी आमे सदाळे कहबा कि आमे जदि भी किछि भलो काम करूचे इट इज द गॉड हु सेंड अस टू डू दिस थिंग्स हो कि नहीं पंकज नहीं धर गारे किछि लोकन को पई तमे पीवा पानी देलो ग्रीष्म दिन रे बस स्टैंड रे you will say that the day was very good because you at least gave water to few people, those who are getting down from the bus or ready to see ride up the bus, isn't it? So therefore, if we do good action, always we should pray the God that God has sent us to do the good karma. Why? Because if you take credit on our own, then we'll feel very egoistic. Like somebody tells you that I have given this, I have given this, that's a very bad word. These are the bad culture, bad traditions, bad thinking. So therefore we say God is the master of all karmas, God is the protector of all deeds, and hence the ego arrogance which really tempt us to do evil actions, like the political people, the some people, those who are there in some say civil, some say I would say civil servant, some police officers, you'll find them mostly for some other reasons they do certain kind of action that are not appreciated. So therefore we should know ego and arrogance are useless because life is very short and therefore we should avoid it, and these are things stated in Vedas and Upanishads, such a brilliant way of explaining that how we should stay away from our ego and arrogance. And if at all you will be inculcating ego and arrogance, then the consequence would be dangerous, the consequence would be very unhappy, unpleasant. Next, some Upanishads, some Vedas, they say if we do some good actions, we'll go to Brahmalaka. If we do bad actions, we'll go to Chandralaka. ତାକୁ ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହିବା ସ୍ୱର୍ଗ ଆଉ ମର୍ତ୍ତ୍ୟ, isn't it? Many people will tell you that, look, you are cheating the whole society, but somebody is watching. ଯୋଉ ଦିନ ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ହବ ସେଇଦିନ ତମେ ନରକକୁ ଯିବ କି ସ୍ୱର୍ଗକୁ ଯିବ, because there is a threat that one should not indulge with the bad action because God is watching who is doing what actions. Shall I move on next slide? Yes. Now, if you see that If you see the whole world and India in particular, you'll find that many people believe many things. So those who believe only one God, there is no second God, they are called monotheist. କିଏ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଇପାରିବ? Who can give me an example?
ସାର୍ ମୁସଲିମ ମାନଙ୍କର ୱାନ୍ ଗଡ୍ କୁ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରନ୍ତି ଆଲ୍ଲାହ।
ହଁ ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ। ତାପରେ ଆମ ହିନ୍ଦୁ ରିଲିଜିଅନରେ ଆମେ କଥାଟା ହବା, ଏଟା ତ ମୁସଲିମ ଠିକ ଅଛି। ମୋନୋଥେଇଜମ୍ ମିନ୍ସ କୋଉମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଯେଉଁମାନେ ୱାନ୍ ଗଡ୍ ବୋଲି ବିଲିଭ କରନ୍ତି, ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଗଡ୍ କହିଲେ ଚିଡ଼ି ଯିବେ।
Those who believe in Vaishnavites, Vishnu, they believe.
Yes, yes. So there are few Hindus, they believe that Krishna is the root for all the gods and goddesses. In ordinary words, he is holding the main profile like prime minister. The rest of the gods and goddesses are the other minister, those who will be reporting to the prime minister. In a concrete example, I would say that the root of the tree is nothing but Krishna. The branch, flowers, fruits, all are mostly other gods and goddesses. Those who believe that, they are called monotheist. So mostly you'll find them in ISKCON temple. So they are very rigid about Krishna consciousness. And ISKCON temple are there across the globe, not just in Bhubaneswar or some other town. It's there in across the globe. There are also people in South, they believe in Saivaji. Saivaji means Shiva. Shiva is the root, and the rest of the gods and goddesses are derived from Shiva, or they report to the Shiva. They are lower than the Shiva's power and wisdom. So those are treated as monotheism. Okay, now? Yes. Now next one, the concept called polytheism. Polytheism means a large number of gods and goddesses which we are witness of it. Ganesh Puja, Saraswati Puja, Lakshmi Puja, Kali Puja, Durga Puja. You go on like this. Okay, na? So therefore, we want to make each and every god and goddesses. Those who do that, we call them polytheist. That means they believe in so many gods and goddesses. Now the third variety is called henotheism. Henotheism means there are people, they know so many gods and goddesses, but even knowing so many gods and goddesses and their existence, their importance, still they believe one god is superior than other gods. Now there's a difference between monotheism and henotheism. Monotheists are those who believe only one god. For them, the question of second god doesn't arise. But henotheists are those, they know that so many gods and goddesses exist, but they give importance to only one god. And they say other gods are inferior to that god. Or you can put it in reverse. One god is superior than the other god. It's like so many Bollywood singers, they sing songs, but you only prefer only one singer because you like his or her singing style or the song he or she sings. If you do that, then you will be part of henotheist. Done. In Grishma ସମୟରେ both variety ambo market ରେ ମିଳୁଛି, but you prefer only one mango, and you, in your opinion, that mango is better than all the other mangoes, which may not be true for others. So if you subscribe to this view, you will be treated as a henotheist. Shall I move on next slide? Very easy. The next slide is about existence of the universe. Now question arises, if you, me and all of us were there on this earth, there must be somebody who created us. Now you ask me the question, our parents are the cause for our existence. They say, even medical terminology, those who are working on abortion, those who are working on urologist, gynecologist, if you happen to meet them, you ask one questions, a critical questions. In those days, Vedic tradition, they ask, nobody on this earth, I repeat, listen carefully, nobody on this earth can tell exactly when the chromosome, X chromosome, penetrates with Y chromosome. Or I would say a particular chromosome that's penetrates into the womb. Nobody knows. But after a lady conceives, then only we know that he or she is conceived on so and so. Then they'll say approximately prior 2 days before or 3 days before or 1 week before or 1 month before. But God has a creation in such a unique manner that the science fails. Science could not able to answer that at what point of time 23 chromosome from a male, 23 chromosome from a female, they come together, and in a given point one chromosome hits, and therefore the lady gets penetrated. It applies to all the living creatures available on this earth, mostly human beings, birds, animals, so on and so forth. Not like amoeba and reptile, it's a different thing, but only say birds, say animals and human beings. Nobody knows that, and therefore you'll find that even there are twins, there must be little difference between them. Even though there are so many numbers of individuals available on this earth, even though there are few million and trillion people are living on this earth, you will find that everybody look uniquely. And you ask me how, I would say many people believe in fingertips, biometric. Yes or no? So there are twins. You take them for biometric, you will find that two different biometric signals. If there are so many individuals, you collect their fingerprints, you'll find everybody is unique. There's every possibility that they may look like same, they behave like the same, but they are unique in their nature. And that's what they said, that even though parents are cause and we are the effect, we come from our parents, it's a genealogy. But at what point of time the 23 chromosome from male and 23 chromosome from female, they come together and conceive, a lady can conceive. And therefore you see, like many individuals on this earth, they possess a unique entity in them which may not be equivalent with others. In this way, they say the existence of the universe must have been created for a purpose. So, who has created? Some people believe Vishwakarma. ତମମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କୋଉ ମାନେ ସବୁ ବିଶ୍ୱକର୍ମା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପୂଜା କର? You don't understand Vishwakarma? How many of you understand Vishwakarma?
Yes, sir. ବିଶ୍ୱକର୍ମା ନିର୍ମାଣ କର୍ତ୍ତା ଯିଏ ମାନେ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷର
Yes, sir.
ଯନ୍ତ୍ରପାତି
ହଁ, ଯାହା ଘରେ ସବୁ ଧର ଯିଏ ଚାଷ କରୁଛି, ଯାହା ଘରେ ଲଙ୍ଗଳ ଫଙ୍ଗଳ ଥିବ କି ଅନ୍ୟ ପାୱାର ଟିଲର ଥିବ, ସେମାନେ ବି ଯାହା ଘରେ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ୍ରି ଥିବ କି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ୍ରି ଓନର ଥିବ, ଯନ୍ତ୍ରପାତି ଯେତିକି ଟୁଲ୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଟେକ୍ନିକ୍ସ, କିଛି ଲୋକ ଗାଡ଼ି ପୂଜା କରନ୍ତି ବିକଜ ଦ ଭେହିକଲ ଇଜ ଇଟସେଲ୍ଫ ଏ ଟୁଲ୍ସ. So Vishwakarma designed all the universe. Some people believe in Vedantic tradition. Some people say both Vishwakarma and Varuna, they create the universe together. Others believe Agni is responsible for all creation. Agni mane niya. Now I'll give some examples so that you can relate to your experience. ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମନ୍ଦିର ଯାଉଛେ, ଆମେ କାହିଁ ଦୀପ ଜାଳୁଛେ? ଦୀପରେ ତ ଅଗ୍ନି ଲଗାଉଛେ ନା, କ'ଣ ପର୍ପସ୍ କ'ଣ? କିଏ କହିବ? Who can tell me? କେହି ପଚାରିଛେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ କି ଆମେ ଦୀପରେ ନିଆଁ କାହିଁକି ଲଗାଇବା, ଖାଲି ଖାଲି ଦୀପ ନେଇ କାହିଁ ରଖିବାନି, ମାନେ କ'ଣ ଦରକାର ସେଟା? What is the purpose for that?
Maybe light symbolizes wisdom.
No. It merely because the ignorance that we had, we made some mistakes. We look at the flame and we say that we are surrendering here, so that ego arrogance of a human being will burn there. So God will create a purification in our heart, and that is the purpose of Deepa. Similarly, Christians, they will take candlelight. If you closely observe, candlelight will be lighting on. It means there is a fire on it. Yes or no? They will never put a dose candlelight. The candlelight must be burning. That means the ego, arrogance, all those actions, bad actions, they did it. It's going to burn there. So Agni has a capability to forgive you in many ways, because to aid is the human beings. Now similarly, take any other religion. By chance, have you visited Buddhist people, how they celebrate their gurus?
Yeah,
Gautam Buddha? Yes. So there is a Agni, you see that? Now, by chance, if you visit to some of the Parsis people, you know Parsis, they live in Mumbai and other part, Parsis. Yeah, there is also Agni, which will be alive years after years. Then, if you go to Jaina temple, also there is a Agni, isn't it? So, what it necessarily says that Agni is responsible for all creation. When someone's ego arrogance is surrendered, it just burnt, that person gets a purification. आमे रामायण रे पढ़िथिलु कि तमने भी सुनिथिबो सबो कि सीता माता जतबेले अग्नि ऊपर ठिया हेले that becomes a test for her whether she is purified or not. Yes or no? So Agni burns the evil and helps the person to comes out with all purification in heart and mind, and he or she would feel a new person on this earth. ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଦେଖିବ ଲୋକମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ମନ୍ଦିରକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତି ଏକ୍ଜାମ ରେ ଭଲ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ନୁହେଁ କି ଭଗବାନଙ୍କୁ ମାଗିବା ପାଇଁ ନୁହେଁ ମନ୍ଦିରକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତି to find out some kind of peacefulness in life. ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ଆଳତୀରେ ସକାଳ ଆଳତୀରେ they feel very good about this atmosphere. It is like giving a different positive vibe to them. This is how the purpose. But those who are going to temples to ask something, भगवान मते जिमिति हेले गुटे किछि चाकरी फाकरी करे दियो भगवान जिमिति हेले गुटे किछि कोन कराओ मोर किछि हे पारनी सेगुडा से सब काम करन बुझलन. That's not the purpose for which one should go to the temple. If some people are going to the temple to meet some other people for different reasons, that is not the purpose. So here to go to a religious place means is just to surrender ourselves, to surrender, saying that we made certain mistakes unknowingly. So Lord or God, forgive us, and therefore we are here in front of the fire, so that the fire will help us to burn all the evils that we have done it. Such a beautiful explanations given in the Vedic tradition. In today time, you, me, and most of us, we do certain activities, but we do not know the reason behind that. Like, ame kahi deep jaliba. Janithila aguru सब तमने kahi deep jaliba बोली. घरे काहे कि अगरबत्ती लगाती जानिछ? What is the reason for अगरबत्ती? काहे कि कुटा धुआ में देई परिबो. Kuta means you know that, right? The left out part of this rice field. Ambrish, you heard that? This is a Balesar North Odisha side bhasha. Kuta. Kuta means something that left out after we take out this rice from the rice field. The straw type that's get dried up. That's called kuta. Mostly that cows, bullocks, buffaloes, they eat it. So why we will be burning the incense sticks when we pray to the God, not like any other things?
Maybe to dispel negative vibrations.
No, the incense sticks is made out of some purifications. The compositions of the incense sticks are some purified. That's come from 5 Mahabhutas, and that helps us to offer our prayer in a sense that after some time we'll also mingles with the 5 Mahabhutas. The way the incense sticks, after it burns, it just falls, the ashes falls in, and nobody recognizes what is the shape size of that incense sticks, isn't it? Nobody knows what smell it was having earlier, if at all there were fragrance. Similarly, you, me, and all of us as a human being, we live on this earth for a particular period of time, and after that we'll also mingle with the 5 Mahabhutas. The whole existence that I am so and so, X is so and so, will not be there at all. You see, there's a beautiful explanation about it. This is how we need to learn from Vedas. Now, next one, the theory of Ruta. Ruta means a cosmic order, a particular order of the universe. ओडिशा रे हमरो प्रति वर्ष साइक्लोन होची, बन्या होची, देन भीषण भाव रे धन जीवन नष्ट होची, रास्ता घाट खराब हो जाउची. बट आफ्टर सम टाइम इट्स गेट हील्ड. जो माने घर नष्ट घर भांगी जाउची कि जो माने हैरान हरकत होचंती, आफ्टर सम टाइम दे गेट इनटू एडजस्ट, बिकॉज़ नेचर हैज अ पावर टू हील. सपोज जनक घर गोटे जने फैमिली मेंबर को हरै बसिले, such a painful experience, but once the time passes, that emotion gets faded out, and after some time that person survives. Similarly, if you see as a whole, as a universe, tiger will eat deers, deers will eat grass, and grass will be planting. This is a cosmic order. Like after Monday, Tuesday will come, then Wednesday will come. Like summer, winter, something like season, one after another will come. Similarly, there's an order. Who is creating that order? If some cyclone happens, if the flood happens, is that order is getting break? Is that order getting disturbed? No. The season will come one after another. The month will come one after another. Everyone will eat what is meant for them. And therefore, people say that there is a cosmic order. Because of that cosmic order, we maintain an equilibrium on this universe. And hence we say, who has created this equilibrium? Or who is taking care of that equilibrium? In that sense, many people say that gods and goddesses which were entered in particular person's body, and therefore the sages and saints they could write the Vedas. They are responsible to maintain the cosmic order. Imagine a situation: you and me, we can see only few objects; those are in front of us or surrounded to us where we are living in. But beyond that, the universe is so big, so vast. We cannot have all the knowledge about this objects and facts of the universe. But somebody must be having all the knowledge of this creation and maintaining the equilibrium in the universe. And that's called the cosmic order. That's called Ruta. The universe was therefore is not an accidental creation. It was meant for a particular purpose. And purpose is that how one is related to other. And therefore there's a we feeling among us. And Vedas said that we should not disrespect the animals and birds. Like kicking a dog, kicking a cat is an unethical action, and human being should refrain from doing that. And today time also, if you closely observe that many people they give some kind of food to the cats and dogs, those are roaming on the road, even though they are not pet cats and pet dogs. Okay, now some people even they give food to the cows, buffaloes, and ox, even though they are not their own pets. Some people give some seeds to the pigeons, to the other birds, even though the birds are not paid for them. Did you observe that? It because they're in the uniformity we need to maintain in the universe. This is how the Vedic text conveyed to the whole society. Shall I move on to the next? Yes. Now, very briefly, I have covered Vedas. But if you dig into Vedas, you will find so many resources. But what is important for you to learn, I have discussed that. Now, when Veda ends, Upanishad starts. So, therefore, in Upanishads, there is nothing new mentioned. Rather, some of the misinterpretations made by certain sages in that time, because there are big, big slokas in Ruk, Sam, Yadur, and so on and so forth. So, therefore, people were started interpreting it uniquely the way it suit them. So to avoid this confusion and contradictions, some sages they have taken some important informations from Vedas and put it into small, small books, and that's nothing but we call Upanishads. And because of this, we find some people believe 10 principal Upanishads, some people believe 12 principal Upanishads, some people believe 8 principal Upanishads. But if question will come, how many principal Upanishads majority of Hindus believe in, you must write 10 principal Upanishads, neither 8 nor 12. Okay? Upanishads like Taittiriya, Aitreya, Kena, Katha, Chandogya, Brodaranakya, etc. etc. You heard about it? Any one of you heard about it? These Upanishads? Isa, Kena, Katha. Okay, good. So there are three pillars that we will find in Indian culture and wisdom. In today time, whatever we do, it's mostly we derive many of these concepts from Upanishads. And in turn, Upanishad is derived from Vedas. So what is the root for therefore for all of us? The root is the Vedas. Now, if you see the sequence, you will find the Vedas and Upanishads. After that, the Bhagavad Gita. After that, Brahma Sutra. So now Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra are offshoot or the child of Vedas and Upanishads. So mostly in civil service, the question comes arranged in an order. So you have to write first Vedas, then Upanishads, then Bhagavad Gita, then Brahma Sutra. That is the correct order. Now, Upanishad therefore is the bedrock of Indian culture and philosophical wisdom. Why? Because most of the important concepts mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra are derived from Upanishads. And how shall we learn Upanishad? Those who are interested to acquire new knowledge about worldly affairs, they should find out who is a knowledgeable teacher, who would be able to give the instruction to the learners. And then there will be a good and mutual understanding between teacher and student. Student should go to the teacher, and teacher should be able to freely communicate his or her understanding about the worldly affairs. And this is how Upanishad was learned in that time. Now question arises, Who has created the universe? Because the world is so big, the universe is so vast. The existence of the phenomenal world. Any doubts so far, guys? Okay. Any doubt, others? I could see only Ambresh is online. Rest of this are offline. Okay. So, what is phenomenal world? Who can explain?
The world is continuously, it's not permanent, it's changing, it's nothing is, everything is a phenomena, so things are in flow.
Yes, correct. So, the phenomenal world, when you say, it includes each and everything, living creatures, non-living creatures, everything, each and everything. Now, question arises that in Upanishads they have explained, if the world exists, there must be some region behind that, because nothing happened on this earth without a region. Those who come from science background, you know, the theory of causation. What it means? If an event exists, there must be cause behind that. Since we the human being possess the limited knowledge, in some occasions we know the causes for an event. In some occasions we fail to know the cause of an event. But nevertheless, we cannot rule out the fact that the phenomenal world or the cosmos exists, and there must be cause behind it, or there must be a reason behind it. So keeping this in mind as a logical explanations, so some Upanishadic thinkers they said that it is better to understand the world through a theory or the doctrine known as Khyana Bhangavada. Khyana means time, Bhanga means split, Bhanga means break. Okay, Vada means doctrine. That means every moment is unique, and once the moment passes, things changed. For example, 10 years back and today, there must be many changes in you, biologically, psychologically, and otherwise. Every entity that you see that doesn't have life, that also changes in the process of the time that goes. For example, suppose now there is a water bottle in front of you. Down the line, 5 years, you will not be able to see that water bottle in the same shape, same color, and everything. Even the table that you might have used in your college, if you go to the college as an alumni, you will find that the color might have faded out, the wrapper might have come out, something like that. So therefore, the best way to understand the world is that nothing is permanent on this earth. Everything is transitive. So therefore, even though somebody possesses ego, arrogance, and power, he or she should not think that it is eternal as such. Rather, he or she should believe that if nothing is permanent, his or her position itself is not permanent. In this way, everybody should behave in a humble and submissive manner. Yeah. So this is all about Khyana Bhangavada. Then it comes to the manifestation of energy. The basic question asked, how shall you understand the spirit which caused the whole universe? They say we need to understand the energy. Sometime back on the first class, I told you that there is a potential energy that lies in the seed. Because of that, once we sown that seed on the earth, down the line, 15 years or 10 years, we can see a gigantic tree that has many branches, many flowers, many leaves, and many fruits. And therefore, we say we need to understand the energy in this way, that how an unseen energy that works for us. Now, another question I'll ask, suppose a fly is flying besides your head without creating a sound, but still you get a vibe that something is happening in your back side of the mind. And if once you turn, you'll find that there's a fly. Why? Because everyone is having certain kind of aura, that's bulb kind of thing, that's an energy. Once something penetrated to that energy, then you get an alert mind that something is happening. The best example you can see, suppose you are sitting on a park, somebody wants to kick football. That person came forward to you with having say 10 feet distance, put the ball and try to kick you. Even though that person is not kick the ball, still you will go either left side or right side, because you know that if at all you are there and if he's going to kick, then the ball will come and hit you. So therefore, before the ball hits you, you will find out your way, because you will not, your mind will not allow you to sit there and get hit if it is not intentional. And this is how they say the energy that we have that decides what exactly and how exactly we will channelize it. Suppose you want to drink some water from the water bottle, your right hand knows how much energy is required. Suppose you want to have a tea, now the right hand knows how much less energy is required to pick up the tea cup and sip it. Suppose you want to take it a pencil for your writing, and your hand know that how much energy it is required. Now in three examples, the hand decides the energy in three different ways. Now question arises that how is it possible? Now, people explain that it is the energy through which we are created on this earth. The same energy is responsible for doing all the actions on this earth. In this sense, they say that it is the energy that binds all the life together in a thread. The way a garland is formed by using flower, leaves, and I would say that thread. Similarly, all the lives that you see on this earth, they are getting into one through certain threads, certain connections. Next one is called some speculation, because in those days science were not developed, so people were started speculating. So if you read Chandogya Upanishads, you'll find the scholar speculated that fire, water, and earth, the three elements, are responsible for the creation of this multiple objects on this universe or multiple life in the universe. If you read by chance Brihadaranyaka Upanishads, it says water is responsible to create so many objects on this earth. I'll give an example. Those are science and non-science students. Suppose you purchase the new coconut, you break it into two pieces, and you put it in your fridge, which is minus temperature, and you went somewhere else for 10 days, 12 days. Once you come back, you see that there is a green layer would be there on the flesh of the coconut, and after some time you will find some sort of life that they will be moving or crawling in that flesh, isn't it? Now the question arises that it is a minus temperature. What happened? The fridge was shut down, but still you will find some element has life that are crawling inside that coconut. Now they say water is responsible to create all the objects on this earth. In this way, they said that water can also create so many lives that you will find in ocean and so on and so forth. ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ ଶଙ୍ଖଟା ଫୁଙ୍କୁଛେ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାବେଳେ, that also get created. Many other small plant also getting created because of the water. And remember, earlier years, those who were not able to get some water to drink to digest their food, they were taking care of some of the branches of the tree or the leaves of the tree. Once they break it, they can able to drink some water from that. So therefore, water is responsible to create so many objects on this earth. Mostly vegetables, if you think. See, for example, I would say fruity, I would say kakudi, I would say that boitalo, I would say kokharu, all these things, even cholera, johnny. In Sambalpur, you call johnny is a johnny or some other words?
It is journey.
Johnny, huh? Correct. Okay, good. Only tomato is a different word called patalavanta. Correct, no? Patalavanta. Not Odisha sapata konti bilati. But you are acquainted with these two words, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So therefore they say water is the cause for all the creation that you see on this earth. It's a beautiful explanation they have given. Now the next one is called that's called Taittiriya Upanishads. Taittiriya Upanishads says that earth, water, air, fire, and ether. It's called Akasa. The five Mahabhutas are responsible for all the creation that you see on this earth, because once the body dies, it mingles with all the five Mahabhutas. Such a beautiful concept. However, the dominant concept which we discussed on the first class, Brahman is the source of all the creation. That means somebody is so powerful, somebody is so omniscient, omnipotent, who can think about the big cosmos, the big universe, and can able to maintain the equilibrium between two category, three category, n number of category of objects we see on this earth. In this sense, they say that we need to understand that we are nothing in front of Brahman. We are just the smallest particle. That means 0.0000001 percentage, and our life is not in our hand, it's God has given. So therefore, when we are not having real power, why at all we inculcate the ego, arrogance, and so and so forth? Because nothing is permanent on this earth, neither the position nor the human being, nothing. So therefore, it was stated that to live in a society, we should be we should have compassionate feeling for others, we should have benevolence feeling for others, we should have prudence for others. What it means, that necessarily we should come forward to help others. Okay na? ଆଜିକା ତାରିଖରେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ୱିଟନେସ୍ ଅଛ, ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ଟେଲ୍ ମି whether it's correct or not. ଗାଁରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଧାନ ଅମଳ ହୁଏ, ଅମରେଶ, ୟୁ ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡ ଧାନ, ରାଇଟ୍? ଦଟ୍ସ ରାଇସ୍. ଧାନ ଅମଳ ହେବ, ଆଗିକା ଟାଇମ୍ରେ ଧର ଜଣଙ୍କ ଘରେ 2ଟି ବଳଦ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ପଡ଼ୋଶୀ ଘରେ ଆଉ 3ଟି ବଳଦ ଅଛନ୍ତି. ସୋ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇଏ ଧାନ ଅମଳ କରିବ ତା ଖଳାରେ, ସେ 3ଟି ବଳଦ ଅନ୍ୟ ଜଣଙ୍କ ଘରୁ ଆଣିବ कि आज तो बलद तू मत दे, सो दैट 5टी बलद मिसिक मो धान अमल करेंगे. तोर जब दरकार हो तू मोर ठू 2टी बलद जो अच्छी ताकू तू नहीं एमती हो कि नहीं आजिका तारीख में. यस जोशना, आर यू देयर इन जलेश्वर? डज इट हैपन?
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍, ଏଇନା ତ ବଳଦ ନେଇକି ଆଉ ହଉନି.
नहीं एबे होनी, बट देयर इज अ कांसेप्ट लाइक.
यस सर. सर होतला, आगରୁ होतला, ଯେତେବେଳେ ମାନେ ଟ୍ରାକ୍ଟର କି ଗାଡି କିଛି ନଥିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ଏମିତି ହଉଥିଲା.
होतला ना? So you remember the reason
ଆଜ୍ଞା
behind
sir.
that? Yes, the reason behind that, how we will be helping each other to take care of our needs. That is the basic understanding. So therefore they say, neither you nor me, we are empowered with everything. We need to depend on each other because we are not full. We don't have all the things that we require for our life. And this is how one has to understand the healthy relationship between two individuals, three individuals, two villages, three villages, and whole country as such. Shall I move on next? Okay. Relation between God and the world. If God has created and world is been created, if God is the source and the world is the effect for that, what is the relation that we need to explain now? God heightened the whole world. That means if God has not created the world, you, me, and all of us would not be able to understand what is the world. So therefore, if at all we have a desire, in urge to understand the world, is merely because God has created us. जदि भगवान हमको सृष्टि न करि थांते, आम शरीर रे बुद्धि देई न थांते, आमे परहैप्स का विषय भाभी पारंतु ना कहि पारंतु ना चिंता करि पारंतु कि भलो खराब जो एक्शन करजु ता विषय भी जानि पारंतु. तेणु भगवान पाखे यही शक्ति अच्छी कि से शक्ति फल आमको एमती गोटे अतृप्त शक्ति देते आम भल खराब विचार कर काम करने पूर्व जापर भूल कले क्षमा मांगे भी संकोच करूने. सो दैट वी आर प्रैक्टिसिंग आवर इंटेलेक्चुअलिटी, प्रैक्टिसिंग आवर रेशनैलिटी in a rigorous manner in day-to-day activity. Next point, Vishwa Maya Nibruti. Shweta Sattara is a Upanishad. Like Isa Upanishad, similarly, you have a Upanishad called Shweta Sattara Upanishad. It says that the whole world, that's called Vishwa. Odiya re ame Vishwa boli ko, no ki? Is that this whole world that you see is not real. It's just Maya. Maya means magic. Like magician jemti kohibe, hey dekho para dharchi, देखला पारा चली जाएगी निया आसीगला, हे निया धरची चल जाएगी गुंची मुसा आसीगला, हे गुंची मुसा धरची अंडा आसीगला. Something like that, create a magic. Similarly they say the whole world जोटा का मैं सत्य बोली भाबुचे सेटा सत्य नु, सेटा गोटे चेंज रे परिणत होउची. आज जेटा को मैं देखुचे गोटे जिंस काली सेटा चेंज हो जाइछि, परदिन सेटा चेंज हो जाइछि, किंतु हम पाकर से शक्ति नाही कि से निखुण चेंज टा को हमें देखिबा पाई. Therefore it is necessary for all of us to understand that how the whole world is created by God and how He is maintaining the universe when nothing is permanent on this earth. That's a beautiful concept. That's explained in Sweta Sattar Upanishads. Shall I move on? Next, any questions so far? No. Okay. So non-being was the beginning and being emerged from non-being. यार माने है ना जदि आमे कहवा भगवान या भगवान से किसी क्वालिटी दवा कि भगवान भारी सुंदर भगवान भारी कमल भगवान भारी उदार व्यक्ति सो एंड सो फोर्थ यू नो आमे जो एक्सप्लेनेशन करवा तार समाप्त नहीं ये गोटे लंबा लिस्ट अच्छे जो लिस्ट के फुल हेनी तेणु आम सब ये कहवा भगवान गोटे एमती एंटिटी एमती लोक एमती जड़े अंतर्निहित शक्ति रही लोक जे कि सब जिन क्रिएट करें और जहाँ जहाँ क्रिएट करेंगे सी केवे भगवान को निजर फुल फॉर्म भाविया सक्षम हो पारे इज दैट क्लियर नाउ we are not capable of thinking what exactly that God possesses, how the God should be, and what are the necessary qualities he possesses. Because we possess a very limited knowledge. And therefore they say the best way to explain the notion of God is to say that agaru kichi nathila भगवान सब जिनस आनिक पहुँचे भगवान सब जिन सृष्टि कर तेणु ये सृष्टिटा महान है आम केवे भी कहीपरूनी भगवान पाखे यही स्किल अच्छी से करदे जदि आम कि स्किल गणिदेबू ताने आम भगवान को लिमिटेड करदे आम कहे पाखे केवल एतिक स्किल अच्छे आगे किसी ना बोली जोटा कि लॉजिकली इट इज रॉन्ग आम कर Shall I move on next?
Just you can understand if we say he's like anirvachaniya, but if we say he's non-being, then a Brahman.
Yeah, non-being in the form of that something was there, but that something is not known to us in a complete sense. So any explanation we give to explain that existence would not be sufficient. So the best way therefore to say that we know nothing, what is the root, and from nothing everything came. Got it?
Yeah.
Like gote kacha glass haba purbaru there must be some materials. So ଯେତେବେଳେ କାଚ ଗ୍ଲାସ ନ ହୋଇଥିଲା କାଚ ଗ୍ଲାସଟା ସେ ମେଟେରିଆଲ୍ସ ଭିତରେ ଥିଲା କି ନାହିଁ ନହେଲେ କେମିତି କାଚ ଗ୍ଲାସଟା ହେଇପାରନ୍ତା କରେକ୍ଟ ନ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସେ କାଚ ଗ୍ଲାସଟା କେମିତି ସେ ଭିତରେ ଥିଲା କି nobody knows that once only it is designed once only we produced then only know that okay this was there already otherwise we cannot able to produce ଗୋଟେ କାଚ ଗ୍ଲାସ କି କାଚ ଜାର କି କ'ଣ so ସେମିତି ଆମେ କହିବା ଯେ ଭଗବାନ ଏତେ ଜିନିଷ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିଛନ୍ତି ଏତେ ବିରାଟ ବଡ଼ ପୃଥିବୀ आम पाखे से सक्षम ना कि आम भगवान को कंप्लीटली डिस्क्राइब करने जदि भी किसी मात्रा में डिस्क्राइब करिया दैट इज नॉट सफिशिएंट सो देयरफॉर लॉजिकली आम कौन कहवा कि शून्य थिला से शून्य रो सब जिनिस आछि
So can we say that Advaita non-duality tradition is a monist tradition?
yes this is mostly monist tradition they say everything is caused by one person if there are multiple person then it will be logically error to say that x created that y created that then all people cannot come together to bring the uniformity in the society so therefore always we should say there must be one cause it can't be multiple causes correct no so let me put the chart sorry okay shall we move on okay now in mathematical terms you will enjoy now x nihilo nihilo fit x is a variable nihilo nihilo means negation just now mathematics okay Amrish is okay because he is from engineering background I will say double negation when negation plus negation what it results
Double negative is positive.
correct so therefore if I say this is not a tree the next sentence I'll say this is not a tree so what it necessarily means this is a tree just na hela ki nahi athre
yes sir
ha to bujhigala kon -2 plus -2 is equal to -4 in our mathematical calculation. But minus, say minus, then bracket start, -2. So what it means? +2. Okay na?
Plus.
Correct. Say x is a variable. X, Y, Z, whatever you say. X is a variable, that is negation. That means God doesn't have that quality. God doesn't have other quality. God doesn't have other quality. That means all the ordinary quality you, me, and all the human beings possess, all the animals possess, all this quality God doesn't possess. God possesses something extra quality. And whatever quality we possess, that's just a fraction of second, fraction of moment, fraction of element that we borrowed from that. So if we explain this way, then perhaps we'll be able to imagine what is the greatness that lies in the God, why it is so eternal. On the other hand, why human beings and other living creatures are not eternal. So therefore we'll say God is something that doesn't possess this quality, nihilo, one nihilo. God is something that doesn't possess another quality. God is something, say guna takapakan nai, say guna nai, say guna nai, say guna nai. Therefore God is great. आम ओडिया धर कह भगवान के रागंती क्या ह्यूमन बीइंग चिड़चिड़ा होकर रागंती भगवान क्या क्रोध करते भगवान मीठा खाइला खुशी हमें कारण भगवान तो मीठा तैयारी से कहीं खुशी है Ambrish, you know that Pahada Mitha, something like there is a between Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, there is something called place where people go to purchase sweets. Huh? You know that Pahada?
No.
That's a part of Odisha. This is the best place. Josna, you know that about this? This is between Cuttack and Bhubaneswar. Josna, you know that?
Yes, sir.
You know that, oh, good. So if Ambrish, if you are by chance you are going that side, must taste some of the good foods like Rasagolla, Chennapur or something. It's a homemade only. Huh? That's very tasty. So you must try unless until you have diabetes. Huh? So just
Yes,
have
sir.
yes, should take care of your health but test it. So he's saying that Bhagwan is something. Suppose pickle Bhagwan is not khushi even. Pickle is for us only, ordinary human beings. ମାଛ ଝୋଳ କଲ କି ମାଂସ କଲ we are ordinary human beings feel happy ଗୋଟେ ଭୋଜି ଭାତ ହେଲା ପିକନିକ ହେଲା ଭଗବାନ is not like this ଭଗବାନ ପାଖରେ ସବୁ ଅଛି but ଭଗବାନ is not attached to that you see this explanation when you have something you have an attachment to that suppose you purchase a new iPhone କେତେ ଥର ଦିନରେ ପୋଛୁଛ ତାକୁ suppose you purchase a new scooty କେତେ ଥର ତାକୁ ଧୋଉଛ ସ୍କୁଟି କୁ ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଲା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଧୋଇବ ନୁହେଁ କି ଟିକେ ଡଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ then you purchase a new car. How many times you wash it? But the same car down the line 10 years you are not going to wash that much. Correct, no? So you experience there is an attachment initially, then it slowly fades out and go to the detachment. Yes or no? But God would not come to this level, attachment and detachment. This far from this attachment, detachment. Now you see, all the ordinary experience that you, me and all of us, we get it. God doesn't possess all these things. God is far away from that. So therefore I would say God is one who doesn't possess the human qualities like cravings, who doesn't possess the human qualities like satisfaction, who doesn't possess the human qualities like anger, hunger, etc., etc., etc. If we can explain in this way, it is better for us to understand what is the notion of God. Is that okay? Now in whether it's engineering research, medical research, social science research, this methodology is called eliminative methodology. By applying this methodology, we identify an object. Suppose I'll ask you, what is this? You said this is a dot pen, right? So what it necessarily? You said this is not a pencil. First elimination. This is not a table fan. This is not a water bottle. Something like that. And therefore you conclude that this is a dot pen. In the laboratory experiment, you do exactly the same thing. Yes or no? You eliminate that possibility. You eliminate that possibility. You eliminate that possibility. Then you say that this is the result you get it. Say 92 point something, suppose you get this result. You test it 2, 3, 4, 5 occasions. Then you conclude that this is the result. So that's called eliminative method. A method where doubt doesn't arise. The possibility of question doesn't arise. Shall I move on next? Asat doesn't mean absolute non-existence. The way I explained it, it's supposed to be explained through prag bhava. Like before you see a glass of water, kacho glass, tar jo material bhitar thila, sita nobody knows that. ପାଞ୍ଚ ଗ୍ଲାସ ହେଇସାରିଲା ପରେ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଲୁ କି that was there in the matter in a hidden form. Similarly, the whole world were there in the hidden form in the Brahman. So Brahman only created that. So what it suggests? It suggests after this universe also still there is something hiddenly there in case of Brahman. The best analogy I can tell you. Suppose you go to an ocean or seashore. You take a glass of water from the seashore. Do you think the level of seashore will go down? But necessarily, on the other hand, you have already taken some water, isn't it? So logically, it should go down to some level. But it is so vast that it is not noticeable to us. There is nothing. Put a glass of water, put a ocean roof. There is nothing. Nobody knows it. So this is how imagine that whole ocean is God and all of us are just a glass of water. Just small universe Brahman can create. आगू बढ़िया ब्राह्मण आगू बढ़िया कि नहीं हेला तो सब एत पर्यंत ओके सो देयरफॉर ब्राह्मण इज एक्सप्लेन्ड एज प्योर व्हाट इज प्योर आज का तारीख रे कौन सी जिंस प्योर नाही अटा किण भात अटा किण चावल किण ड्रेस किण छुआ खेलना किण पाठ बही किण कंप्यूटर किण कौन सी प्योर नाही सब भेजाल सब आसुनी न्यूज रे ए तेल भी भेजाल घी भी भेजाल ठाकुर जिंस भी भेजाल सब तो भेजाल मनीष तो भेजाल तो मिछ सकाळ उठिक मिछ कहया बोली प्रैक्टिस करछन नै कि फोन उठेले मिछ फोन रखेले मिछ ताल तो मिछ सत्य कोड नै बट गॉड इज प्योर गॉड डजंट गेट इनटू ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ unethical practices. God is very pure. Now imagine all impurity that you practice. Then you say somebody who doesn't practice the impurity known as God, that's called purity. Like whenever you put ghee on the deepam and when it burns you get a certain kind of devotion from within, that something is you're getting purified, something your body and mind you are surrendering, that's called purity. Now absolute, eternal and immovable. Eternal means whether we exist or not, whether mountain rivers exist or not, the notion of God exists, is eternal. Immovable, God is not like you, me or other animals that we move from one place to another place for our different purposes. So in this sense they say God can be explained in these languages, but God cannot be known to us in a full form. सेत पाई देखो जरा गणेश पूजा होतिबो किए तेजपत्र गणेश कलानी किए बुट्टा गणेश कलानी कि सब अन्य प्रकार सब याड शाड खराब चिंता रे सब गणेश कलानी हो कि ना. So because they think it very differently, because nobody is seeing the Lord Ganesh, it is altogether their imagination. They created a picture and they designed it. In this way, say Brahman consists of certain qualities through our understanding, not for imagining exactly what the God looks like. Now, on the other hand, if you see the world that is created by Brahman, you say that world has certain qualities, like it moves from one place to another place. Like after summer, the winter will come, or rainy season will come, something like that in a circle. 6 seasons we have, yes or no? Khara, Varsha, Shita, Vasanta, etc., etc. Sarata. So the manner hoji, irrespective of anything, so you will find the season will move in a particular order. So the whole world is in a movement. जो माने सब अमावास्या पूर्णिमा सब हिसाब रखुचंती से माने बुझी परतबे केमिति जन बड़ होची पुनी छोट होची एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. सोलर एक्लिप्स हो कि ना ममता जोशना चंद्र चंद्र पृथ्वी
Yes,
कर
sir.
हां कहबा अमावास्या ले रात्रि रात्रि के खाइबेनी संध्या पूर्व खाइ पा कि सब जे जा काम करिया त करियो something like that. Yeah. Okay, so it means the world is in movement, it's progress. You see, every day there is a progress. How do you know that? Jadi tamane ki oda gaare rahutuva ki shahar rahutuva, imagine 10 years back, how was it? Now how is it? Earlier people were riding bicycle, that was a luxury. Right now nobody is riding bicycle. Everybody has two-wheeler minimum, and those many members, those many two-wheelers. How can I? धर 4 जन लोक गोटे जगह को जाउथुवे से 4टा बाइक रे जिवे रास्ता भिड होबो कि नहीं. The road has not increased.
I guess, sir.
People's using bike and other things that increase, which requires a space. So this is how you can see all the explanation that we've given to explain the world is very limited in nature, because it involves in progress, it involves in creation, it involves in destruction. On the other hand, Brahman is far away from all these things. Done. Shall I move on next? Any questions so far? Okay, great. Haba. Brahman is the creator of the universe, where you say the three element. Like tame jemti gote tablet khaucho. Tablet रे सब composition अछि कि नहीं? धर जर हेले ए tablet खाइबो, ठंडा हेले ए tablet खाइबो, काश हेले ए tablet खाइबो. तबे सब tablet रे गोटे composition अछि. कोटा केते मिलीग्राम थिबो, कोटा केते मिलीग्राम. सेमिति ब्रह्मन को हम चिंता करबा, हेतरा हम कहे something is very pure. Chit means shakti. Shakti means a force that you see on this earth. गोटे force रे example दउछि देखो. एते जोरे पवन हबो गोटे रेलगाड़ी को उड़ेगी नहीं जीवो गोटे बाली बुझे ट्रक को उड़ेगी नहीं जीवो पवन शक्ति बुझी पड़छ जो माने हैंड फैन रे बिचु थिबे राति रे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी चली गला परे सेटार भी गोटे शक्ति अछि न कि नले झाड़ा हो सो देयरफॉर यू कैन सी द टू एक्सट्रीम्स सच ए स्पीड wind that can take away the whole say magnanimous truck carrying so much sand on it such a force सामने जदि आम मान रहिबा हमको गुटे जाको नहीं अन्य पके दो हम जानि परबो हो कि ना that's a force on the other hand the mild wind that we all require in the summer season that also we experience जेमति बसंत ऋतुरे बसंत आंब गछरे बौळ होइतबो if you go say down to that mango tree you will feel some kind of good breeze you will feel very good about it हो कि ना शीत दिन रे जेमति बारमासी फूल सब रास्ता ऊपर पड़िथिबो सकाळे you will feel so good about it like somebody has designed it in a particular order जेमति कि ओटे झुंटी दे जाईची कि जेमति कि ओटे नेचर रे फूल वर्षा करची हो कि ना so these are called natural beauty these are things that you find that is a shakti it's a force गुलाब फूल रे सही शक्ति अछि जोथरे से गुड स्मेल तुलसी गछरे एमिति शक्ति अछि ताकू जदी चार पके कि तुलसी पत्र खाइबो देन so called cold and cough that will be minimized okay na there is a shakti that is there embedded in it okay anand is a conscious force that everybody is conscious and because of that they could realize some sort of say some sort of movement on the earth some sort of realization on this earth so in this way I would say imagine Brahman as a tablet that consists of the three ingredient one is pure that's called Sat the second one is Shakti that's called Chit and the third one is called Anand or called conscious force these are the beautiful way the Upanishadic thinkers they have explained it that what are the ways we need to understand the concept of Brahman हला कि नहीं आगो को बढ़िवा अच्छा अद्वैत वेदांत जोटा तुम मन सब जानिछ शंकर सब शंकराचार्य से सर निष्प्रपंचक ब्रह्मन ब्रह्मन गोटे एमिति शक्ति कि आमे माने जेते भी कहले ताकू ठीक रे कहि परिबो हम पाकर वर्ड मिलबन समथिंग इज अबव एंड बियॉन्ड द लैंग्वेज बट जेतले ब्रह्मन चाहिबे सेतबेले गोटे पृथ्वी रे गोटे ऑब्जेक्ट को क्रिएट करि परिबे सो देयरफॉर mathematically I can say that Brahman when he is endowed with maya or a magic then you me and all the living creatures are getting created where we have a soul that has a consciousness that we call Ishwara घर को जेमन आसंदी आमे ताको हाथ जोड़ी के नमस्कार करू कि नहीं त माने लेफ्ट हैंड एंड राइट हैंड this is you and somebody who is guest is the right hand so together one and the same so you invite नमस्कार करियार माने केत जन जानिछ ममता जोशना डू यू नो ऑल दिस नमस्कार माने न जान नथिले नै कि नमस्कार माने होची तमे गोटे जी आसी आउ जणे दी जण वन एंड द सेम सब रेखा मिलिबो देखो सब रेखा मिलुची त माने द क्रिएशन ब्रह्मन सृष्टि रे तमे आउ जे गेस्ट आछुंती ताको भीतर कोन से पार्थक्य नै सो देयरफॉर यू इनवाइट समबडी एट होम सेइंग दैट देयर इज नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन यू एंड मी लेट अस सिट टुगेदर टॉक टुगेदर हैव फूड टुगेदर दैट्स व्हाट द वेलकम इज अबाउट नमस्कार है कि नहीं जोशना
yes sir
very good Ambrish is that okay that's namaskar means what it means namaskar yeah all right so therefore we'll say in mathematical terms that Brahman plus Maya is equal to Ishwara minus Maya is equal to Brahman Ishwara without Ishwara minus Maya means the self when we realize our own self by dissociating our body parts sense organs we will be truly realizing what is called the spiritual entity that's called Brahman so now the first equation Brahman when he desires to create a universe or an entity in the universe he gets into this Maya as a magic, and then he creates a life like you, me, and all of us. The next point I said, when you and me, we realize there's a self in us, because of that, we have a unique identity. And when we realize that self by dissociating the bodily objects, the bodily attachment, the sense organs, we realize the integration between this self and the Brahman, and that is the true realization of the Brahman. See, such a beautiful explanations given in Upanishads. Only thing that in the classroom, colleges, you might not be getting this kind of experience. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the rest are same. Yes or no?
So if Ishwar, uh, it's like he's utilized as the efficient cause of the universe.
Yes. Iswara is nothing but a consciousness, a self, uniquely that identifies a person, what he or she is. An Atma that is there. When we burn, that Atma comes with us. When the body dies, that self or that consciousness goes out. That's called Ishwara. So Ishwara is written for our own convention, for our ordinary understanding. That how God dwells in our heart. Many people believe, no, let us not go to the temple or church or some other religious places, because God lies in our heart. If we understand our own heart, perhaps we respect our God. You heard about this statement, some people make it. So it means necessarily they say that God, that the self is an entity, a living entity that's borrowed from the Brahman. Yes.
Ishwar, is there any difference then, or same? Jeev,
Can you repeat?
Jiva.
No, Jiva, Ishwara, self, soul are one and the same. Only different words are used by different school of Indian philosophy.
So in Advaita, is Ishwara same as Jiva or different?
Ishwara is same as the ordinary human beings or living creatures. Shall I move on next? You guys are tired mentally and physically sitting 2 hours one place.
ସାର୍
Be on.
ଶଙ୍କରଙ୍କ ମତରେ ଜଗତଟା ମିଥ୍ୟା ଅଟେ।
हाँ, ये जो हमारे शंकराचार्य से कहले, Brahman is the only truth.
ବ୍ରହ୍ମ
Here,
and
Jagat Mithya. Truth means T is
ଜଗତ
capital.
ମିଥ୍ୟା।
Huh? And only truth. There is no second truth. Jagat means the whole world, the Vishwa, the cosmos. These are not the truth, because things are moving, things are not permanent, things are going to create, then it sustains for some more time, then it dissolves. So something that has a birth, growth, and decay, it's not permanent. It is not eternal. So it is just in the process of the time it changes its own course. And therefore they say something that is not changed along with the time is known as Brahman. So therefore they say Jagat means the whole world, you, me, other living creature, other non-living objects, all are just mithya, just maya. It's not truth.
yes sir,
Good. Shall I move on? Next. Hey,
yes sir,
I'm speaking 2 hours consecutively. Can you imagine how much energy I have to accumulate to channelize this? Anyway, good.
ସାର୍
Good.
ମଶା ବି ଲାଗିଲାଣି।
Now, in my class, what I do mostly, I put them into group, ask a questions for discussions. But here we don't see many people are active for various reasons. Otherwise, there will be group discussions. It's like thought-provoking questions that would enable you to think something new, give your own perspective. Then I'll tell you the solution of it. In this process, your learning will be very solid. You learn something significantly through your own involvement. Listening carefully to someone for more than half an hour, it requires so much attention, so much concentration issues, right? But when you engage yourself in certain activities and come out with a new concerns, new perspectives, that's called true form of learning. How can I? Yes, but that's not possible in online.
yes sir,
Otherwise, I can divide into small groups, which is not possible. I was thinking 100 plus students would be there. So zone wise or state wise, I can divide so that you will come out with a new idea, new argument, new thinking, so that I'll be able to provide you the correct solution mentioned in Vedas, Upanishads. If we discuss, another school will give solution from that school point. That would be a true form of learning, right? But anyway, what is available for us, we should take it and we should use it for our benefit. What is not available for us, we should not think about it. Yes or no? Because expectation lead to suffering. There are two things, expectation and comparison, that lead to suffering. Close your eyelids and think, if at all you are suffering because you have an expectation from somebody which is not fulfilled, or who has not fulfilled, or it is not fulfilled, correct? And comparison, ଆମ ପଡ଼ୋଶୀ କାର କିଣିଲା ମାନେ ଆମେ କାର କିଣିବୁ ଫର ସମ୍ ଅଦର ୱେଜ୍, ହଁ କି ନା? ଆମ ଘର ପାଖରେ ଲୋକ ଜଣେ
Yes,
ଚାକିରି
sir.
ପାଇଛି ମାନେ ଯେମିତି ହେଲେ ଆମକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଚାକିରି ଦରକାର, just an example, irrespective of ability and capability. ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହୁ ତିନି ତୁଣ୍ଡର ଛେଳି କୁକୁର। ସେ କହିବେ କ'ଣ ତମେ କଲ ପିଲାମାନେ ଚାକିରି ପାଉନାହାନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କ ଘର ପିଲା ଚାକିରି ପାଇବେ, କିଛି କେହି ବୁଝିବାର ନାହିଁ, ଏ ପଦେ କହିଦେଇ ପଳେଇବ। ତାପରେ ଯୋଉଠି ନିଆଁ ନାଗିବା କଥା ସେଇଠି ନିଆଁ ନାଗିଲା, ଯୋଉଠି ଧୂଆଁ ଉଠିବା କଥା ସେଇଠି ଧୂଆଁ ଉଠିଲା, ହଁ କି ନା?
Yes, sir.
ସେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ, ତାଙ୍କର ସବୁ ଭଲ ଭଲ ଖାଉଛନ୍ତି, ତମର କିଛି କରିପାରୁନ। ସେ ଦିନଟା ଚାଲିଗଲା, ଖରାପ ହେଇଗଲା ପୁରା। ତମେ କ'ଣ ଖାଉଛ ନାହିଁ ସେଟା ଚିନ୍ତା କରିବାନି, ସେମାନେ କାହିଁକି ଭଲ ଖାଉଛନ୍ତି, ଫର ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଓନ୍ଲି वी ସଫର, କରେକ୍ଟ? ହଁ କି ନାହିଁ ଅମ୍ବରୀଶ? So therefore, comparison and expectation that lead to suffering, that is stated in Buddhism, that is stated in Vedantic traditions. So wherever you work, whether in NGO or say private company or government sector, you will find this a comparison. So civil servant କହିବେ ମୁଁ ଏତେ କାମ କଲିଣି, ମୋର ଜୁନିୟର ହେଇକି ଜଣେ ପ୍ରମୋଶନ ପାଇଗଲା, ମୁଁ ପାଇଲିନି, ମୁଁ କାହିଁ କରିବାକୁ ଯିବି, ହଁ କି ନା? ମୋଠୁ 5 ବର୍ଷ ସିନିୟର କିଛି ପଢଉନାହାନ୍ତି, ସ୍କୁଲରେ ମତେ ସବୁ ପଢା କରାଉଛନ୍ତି, ମୁଁ କାହିଁ ସବୁ କରିବି, ହଁ କି ନା?
Yes, sir. ସେମିତି ହିଁ ମନକୁ ଫିଲିଂସ୍ ଆସେ ବେଳେ
ହଁ,
ବେଳେ।
ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଛି ବା, ଏହା ହେଉଛି ସଫରିଂ। ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ କଲ୍ଡ କମ୍ପାରିଜନ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟେସନ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଲିଡ୍ ଟୁ ସଫରିଂ। ଧର ଜଣେ କହିବ କି ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ହେଇଛି ମାନେ ବହୁତ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି, ଇଜ ଏନ୍ ଆଡିସନାଲ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି। ମୁଁ କାହିଁ ସବୁ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି ନେବି, ଘରର ଅନ୍ୟ ସଦସ୍ୟ ଅଛନ୍ତି, କେହି କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି, ମତେ ସବୁ କାମ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି, ମୋର ବର୍ଡନ ହଉଛି, ହଁ କି ନା? So these are the societal problems. Therefore, the Vishwa, the Prithvi, the universe is entangled with all emotions, pain, pleasure, suffering, joy, etc. Whereas the Brahman is dissociated from all sorts of attributes that we are discussing now. Shall I move on next? Okay, easy only. It's very easy to understand it. Does Brahman same as Atman? Ambrish, you ask the questions. Here is the answer. If you read Mundaka Upanishads, they have given one example. That imagine a situation on a branch of a tree, the two birds are sitting. One bird is eating the fruits by using the jaws, the nails. Another bird is watching how that bird is taking the small pieces of the flesh from the fruits and eating it. So the bird who is watching is known as Brahman, who has witness to everything that you, me, and all of us we do. And the bird who is eating the food is known as you and me, those who have self or Atman or Jiva and so and so. Got it? Now relate to the first question. If Brahman has created to all of us, do we consider the enjoyment itself is a pleasure? They say no. If enjoyment is done based on the ethical aspect, based on the societal norms, then it is good. But if it is going beyond that for selfish interest, then it has an evil consequence, and that's Brahman doesn't endorse it. You got it? The description here. So therefore, there are two concepts over here. See the two birds, how they are related to each other. Similarly, we the human beings, birds, animals, those who have life, we are related to the Brahman in that way. If by chance you guys are reading Isa Upanishads, the first verse says that Om Purnamidam, and it ends with Ibhavasyati. Isa Upanishads is very easy. So it tells that how big the universe is. And if we consider the big components from the universe, perhaps we can, in our wild imagination, not the correct imagination, in our wild imagination, perhaps we can think, what is the God looks? What are the things, the way God deals about the worldly affairs? Or how self the God can be imagined, that can be only predicted, can be thought of, but that may not correspond to the God's image or God's existence. This is how in Upanishadic thoughts it's stated. Yeah.
two birds sitting on branch of a tree, like so. Jiva and Paramatma are two birds.
Yes, the jibo means the bird who is eating the fruits, like you and me. Every day we eat fruits, we move from one place to another, we have a desire, cravings, we have so many responsibilities, so on and so forth. The another bird who is watching is known as Brahman. So therefore, whatever action we do, the Brahman on the top is watching us. The way one bird is watching the other bird who is eating the fruits. Done. Shall I move on? Yes or no? Easy only. About Brahman and Atman, there are different descriptions. The greatness about Brahman and Atman that we'll find in Mundaka Upanishads. But whatever things we have learned today, on with regard to Atman, with regard to the self that dwells in our heart, we learned the following things. If you find any difficulty, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm reading for you, which I have already explained to you in different ways. Atman is different from our mind, body, intellect, and senses. Atman is the knower who possesses the knowledge. Mind is an instrument that self uses to cognize an object. Therefore, mind doesn't possess the knowledge, or the brain doesn't possess the knowledge. Remember, it is the self who possesses the knowledge. It is the self who has an urge to get the knowledge about worldly affairs. Brain is only the instrument to acquire the knowledge. So therefore, Atman is eternal, conscious, and many. Many, like it is there in case of a bird, animals, reptiles, human beings, so on and so. It has neither beginning nor end. But at the same time, it doesn't possess infinity knowledge because it is born on this earth and it dies after some time. It is beyond the concept of birth and death. It has the freedom of will, the way you choose which course you are going to do it, what subject you need to learn it, what food you want to eat it, because you have a freedom of will to choose that. And that comes because the self exists in you. Yes.
I am little confused about Traitavad and Advaitavad because in some places we find that there is Prakriti and there is Paramatma and there is and in like there is supreme soul, Jeev, like soul, and there is this. And in some places where Advaita is there, they say Brahma is the absolute reality. So in Vedic tradition, how did these two emerge and like which like are both valid in Vedic tradition?
So in Vedanta also you have three people those have contributed their ideas. One is Advaita Vedanta, Visishta Advaita, like I would say Sankara, Ramanuja, Balvacharya, Madhavacharya. So essentially what they say, they disagree with among each other or they disagree with each other. But what is the commonality for them? They say that Brahman is the true reality that cannot be doubted. So for Advaita, Brahman is the only reality. The Vishwa, the world, is an illusion. But for Visishta Advaita or Ramanujam, they say we know the concept of Brahman through this universe. So therefore, the universe is to be treated as a real, as Brahman is real. So now Madhavacharya, he says that look, Brahman is so real that the world has created. Because the world cannot be treated as a real because it involves in birth, growth, and decay. Because every object that you see, it has a destruction after some time. So therefore, these are the qualifications, these are the qualifiers for us to say Brahman is the only truth. You see the differences? So in that sense, all of them agree that Brahman is the truth, even though they differ in their views whether the world objects or world is to be treated as real or unreal. This is how the basic difference you find.
Can we say that they differ in ontology?
They differ in epistemology, not ontology. Epistemology means in their argument. Ontology means if we could able to prove that Brahman exists with this space and time, the way the world objects exist in the space and time, then only it is an ontological argument. Since we cannot prove the existence of Brahman with space and time, We should say this is an epistemological argument. This is about this is an argument that tells the knowledge that we need to acquire about Brahman on the one hand, and the knowledge that we need to acquire about the whole world as such on the other hand.
Arya Samaj people, uh, they are not non-dualist, right?
Who?
Arya Samaj.
Arya Samaj are part of Sanatan Dharma and they believe only one God.
They believe in one God, but they also don't they believe that there is three entities?
Yes,
One.
correct. So therefore, those we have already discussed in today's class, those who believe one God out of many gods, and that God is superior than others, then what shall we tell them? It's called henotheism, isn't it?
Right.
So they belong to this category. Done? Okay, the next few points. So Atman or self doesn't die with the body. The consciousness doesn't die with the body. Consciousness goes away. It has a freedom of will. It receives the fruits according to karma. Whatever karma we do in this life itself, we get the result. It has desire. It has will. It has activity and character. Earlier days in high school, we were getting the character certificate. You know what it means? Character is something that is not visible. Your action, my action, and others' actions are visible. The way we perform an action. But all the actions put together in different contexts, somebody infer our character. Correct, no? Character is not visible. Character is not perceivable. Character is knowable through inference. Our actions are only visible. The way I'm drinking the water, the way I'm speaking with others, the way I'm walking on the road, the way I'm dressing myself, the way I'm relating to the society, so on and so forth. These are the actions. But all the actions, considering in different contexts, people know that what character we possess. Yes or no? Therefore, you say, oh, that friend is good friend, or that friend is not bad friend, because you already judge that person, keeping him or her into different context, how he or she behaves. Correct. So that's in this way I can say that is the Atman which has a desire, will, activity, and character. That's determined. Now it is subject to rebirth. If the karma follow or the result is pending in this life, it will enter into the next life, which we discussed last class. Its rebirth depends on the karma that we perform in this life. Done. Oh, so many things are there. We'll discuss about Atman in the next class. Is that okay? That these are the elements that put together, then we can conceive the Atman. Annamaya koso, pranamaya koso, mannamaya koso, vijnanamaya koso, and anandamaya koso. In ordinary language, matter, life, mind, intelligent, and bliss. Okay, so we'll discuss this, and we'll also discuss the karmic influx. What type of karma? Then we'll discuss what is there in Bhagavad Gita, then liberation, etc., in the next class. Does it sound okay? Because you have now 6 to, you will be now saying that this professor should not say so much things to us in one day. Should give us some space to understand and reflect on, isn't it? Yeah. So my aim not to bore you. It's already 2 hours over, huh? So you should now take rest, have good coffee, tea, relax. I hope that today you learned something about the worldly affairs and how the God is related to the world. Is that okay?
Yes.
So with this, I'm signing out from my end, and take care. Bye bye. See you tomorrow at 4 o'clock.